Become an adult.
Recreate the sky swimmers of Lyranborn.
You aim to become an adult then? All of you?
I do. I'm just gonna look at them for their answer, like all of us.
I mean, I can because Desira.
So just,
Yeah, I'm just kind of here.
So then, Desira, are you not already an adult?
I mean,
When was the last time that you were at your home? Does your guardian still watch over you?
So it has been several months since I've been at my last home. It's been several years since I've been to the place where I was born. No, I watch out for myself. My friends watch out for me. My guardian, I haven't seen him in months, aside from maybe a few days ago. I don't know if that makes me an adult. That just makes me more responsible.
So that you do not see yourself as an adult then, despite having the aspects of one.
I thought that being an adult, you would have more of a handle on things, more of a understanding of things. I feel as if the more I see, the less I understand, and the less I have a handle on anything. So while I feel more responsible, I feel like I'm just a more responsible person. Like, I don't know, like, I don't think that I've acted in a way that is adult like.
What then will you do if you fail? Will you never be an adult?
Neverland.
I suppose if I fail, I wouldn't be an adult in the eyes of elven society, but honestly, I'm not an elf. So while I would be saddened to disappoint my guardian, I don't know if that would carry as much weight as it should. I'm an adventurer, and if I can continue to be an adventurer, continue to be responsible, and then understand the things that I'm seeing as an adventurer, then in my own mind, I can become an adult without having to ride a wyvern down a mountainside.
And there's silence for a bit, sort of as it just hangs in the air for a moment. So then, who is it that you rely on the most?
I rely on the most. It's a very loaded question. I rely on several people. If you watch this, Sears like she's not quite sure like if she wants to say this aloud, but everyone's here now, so I rely on Yesla to show me what it is to not be so serious, to show me what friendship and family is like. I rely on Bash to show me what strength is and to show me what being a father is like. And I rely on Gilrich to show me what faith is about.
So then, there are multiple people in your life who are quite important to you.
Yes.
And as this happens, you see like a swirl of mist kind of like surround Biesla and Gilrich and Vash.
Oh,
And the
great.
voice rings out and says, "What would you do if they were gone one day?"
Can I jump out of this boat? You're taking me alive!
They were
You can jump as high as you want, and as it's like a pillar that sort of fills up to the roof of the cavern.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to jump my way out. Of
Okay.
this
Um,
spiral.
as you jump around, the mist just sort of stays swirled around you.
It's not
I'd like to
today.
run up to you guys. I'm gonna try to like run up to where Vash is. I like stick my hand to the pillar, try to grab him.
Yeah, you can. So as you reach kind of through the mist, um, your hand comes out like the other side of it. You can't feel anything material inside. You can see his outline through the mist, but you can't actually feel Vash himself. And Vash, you can see Senegumi kind of like reaching into the mist where you are, and her arm just doesn't appear within the little area you're in.
Should have named nobody. Just kidding.
Well,
I'm watching that happen, and like, you know, there's definitely some panic. But the guy said that, you know, he wasn't. I don't know what he said. I'm scared.
hey, you better answer this, man.
Well, I guess that depends on like what happened. If they were to, you know, leave on their own accord, I would be sad, but that's life. People come into it and come out of it. However, I would say that if something had happened to them, I probably would not take it very well. And if something happened to them because of something that I decided, it would be a very large burden I would carry for the rest of my life.
Can I insight check and try to see what his intentions are?
Sure, go ahead.
Almost press intimidation.
There you go. Okay. So, you don't have any sort of facial features to read or any body movement at all to sort of get a feeling for. So you have to go purely on tone of voice. And despite the fact that the voice has been relatively monotone for the entire time that it is spoken, you sort of get an inkling of a piece of advice that your father gave you as you enrolled into becoming a soldier. In that, he was trying to teach you that you have to keep moving on, regardless of what might happen on the field. People die. That's the entire part of war. And that it's important to continue forth. And so you get a sort of concern from the voice, and almost a parental sort of care for it. And the voice replies, "So you would live on for them?"
I feel like I would have to. Yeah, even if it is just to rectify what was done to them.
And at that response, the mist around the three of them dissipates and just sort of falls back into the floor.
I feel violated.
Just a deep breath, just like.
Very
As
well.
DSL plays, my heart will go on the flute.
It seems that you are wiser than you might give yourself credit for, Nasira. You have learned well from those around you, and of your own accord.
Thank you.
Can we leave now?
At first, all I wanted to do was to further on Silverlight name. So I feel that the more I learn, the better I can do that. However, so far I've seen that there's just more to things than making your name bigger than it was before. As if there's something else I'm supposed to be doing. I don't exactly know what that is just yet, but if today it's just to fly a wyvern down a mountain and be recognized as an adult in a society where my name means something, then I'm okay with doing that. And I'm just very lucky that I have friends who decided that they would back me up in this venture.
Indeed. It is the connections we make throughout our lives which weigh the most upon us all. And as that phrase is said, the mist sort of fades around from all of you, and you notice that you're all on top of the lip where the rock climbing wall was before.
No, we gotta lift it up.
All right, we didn't have to climb. Okay, we look around. It's like, is everybody okay? Is everybody all right? And switch back to common. Look, it's like we're all in one piece. Check your pockets.
And the mist sort of curves and like is almost moving on its own, like up through a passageway in front of all of you.
I guess we follow the mist.
I guess we're following that. All right, let's go. So I decided I was gonna go first, and then I'm like, maybe somebody else should go in front of me. Just saying.
I'll go.
I was gonna say
volunteer.
somebody that has some armor on them, but you know, hey. I'm not gonna stop anybody's, you know.
I'll just
Yeah, I'll
dodge
go
out the
first.
way. I was gonna.
My best friend. All right, so we are following
Got it.
this.
So as you enter into the cave, you feel a chill wind kind of going into the passageway. You can kind of feel that there's some wind from the outside blowing down this way, though the mist is not affected by the sharp wind at all. it seems to simply be moving across on its own. And you can see a bead of light as it shines through the opening, as it seems to be leading outside, as some snow begins to drift in as well. Before you come out of the cave, and it opens up wide into this open area as you hear a screeching sound similar to you heard as you were climbing up the mountain as well. Before you see a few wyverns flying about near the peak, and there is one that stands out that is waiting near the exit to this cave. That seems to be much larger and older, with these gems sort of like encrusted into its body that are appear to be sapphires, and it waits atop for you all. And it, in a different voice that you heard earlier, it says, "Welcome, Stratera, to the peak."
Was that you?
Okay, so this wyvern is just jewel encrusted and just sitting here. Like, does he notice that we're here?
He's staring at you, yeah. No, it's not speaking. Its mouth is shut as the words ring through your heads.
He just told us welcome.
Look, I was making sure that it was this thing talking to us. And
Not the mist, the guy that's still here.
This wyvern is enormous, by the by. Its head is larger than any of you.
Oh wow.
Are you like the salesman? Are you gonna try to like just buy extra features? Where are the cheap women?
No, I have watched over this mountain since before Singorn was founded. I have watched over every last one who has come here in order to pass their right into adulthood. It is not always to tame a wyvern, but it is for many other things.
okay. Well, you know who we are. I don't know what to ask at this point.
You got a saddle? Just kidding.
So, I'm gonna guess that we're probably gonna try to ride down one of the younger ones.
Unless you wish to ride an older one, though that will certainly be a larger task than a younger one.
Yeah, we're gonna go for the younger ones because
I mean, unless you don't mind carrying us down.
Yeah, which ones have the back row seating?
Yeah.
And it sort of was laying down before, and it sort of brings its two front legs in front of it and stands on top of it that are connected to its wings. Says, "If you wish, you can try to have me be your weapon."
What does this entail? I mean, yes. What does this entail?
There is no strict guidelines for how to tame a wyvern. It is whatever you believe is the best way. That, too, is the test.
I mean, he looks awesome, but I'm pretty sure he's been here before we've all been burned. So
yeah, for our great grandparents with thoughts.
you could try a little baby.
I say we attempt
Just
like
take
something.
one for a test drive.
Oh boy. I was not fully prepared for this one. So, I have a feeling that you probably have a little bit more cunning and strength than all of us. Well, maybe I'll just speak for myself. I'd rather not attempt tangling with you. I personally think we should probably attempt something within our
Lesson.
collective ability.
Budget.
Our budget.
such a collective ability. So, guys, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Help me out here.
That is your decision, of course.
Can they all speak common like you?
Some are less accustomed to doing so, and it is not quite speech as you all have. But if you choose one of sufficient mind, you should be able to communicate at least some concepts to you.
I think we should go for a teenager or something.
I was thinking about that. Yeah, it's like if they're able to like converse, maybe we can like come to some like I don't know agreements. Yeah.
Okay, what do you want?
I mean, it'd be great if we could just, not have to, brawl it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't want your equivalent injured. I'll be writing it down.
Exactly. Maybe if it wants something like very particular, like on the monthly basis, get paid to it. Then it would still be our river.
Oh, you tried to keep me for a while. Alright,
You can do as long as you want. I just fly me down and bye bye.
I mean, if we don't pay, then it gets repossessed. So
Alright, so I'm just gonna turn back to, Grand Wyvern in front of us. Is it okay if we kind of walk through here? Or is that too dangerous for us?
You may do so, if you so desire. Most will be flying about. Perhaps some will take note of you.
Yeah. That take note part worries me.
So, if we're under attack, right? What's the best thing we should do? Or it's like, you can't tell trade secrets.
That is your decision.
That didn't answer the question, but okay.
I think the answer to that is if we're under attack, then we decide what we're gonna do.
Okay, alright. Again, he's not giving trade secrets.
I mean, it is my test.
It is his babies, his kid. I kinda wanna touch him, but I'm afraid.
I know, me too. I kind of want to.
And I don't want him to confuse me touching his talon as you try to tame me.
Oh man. Oh well, okay, guys. So we're just gonna go track a smaller, younger wyvern? Is that what we're doing right now?
Is that what we're doing right now?
I'll call it a group huddle. Because that's what I would like to do. I would like to track a smaller wyvern, maybe see if we can come to some type of agreement.
We got food.
We have got a snack, Now, if we have to catch this thing, does anybody know how we're going to do it? Let's group huddle right here before we walk out into this. Who's got some ideas? Because
I'm gonna whip it,
I mean, as I'm looking around, how big are what is the variation of size for wyvern aside from big dude?
So they're pretty big variance in sizes. There are some that are more often perched on the sides that are seem to be the youngest of the bunch, as some of them will go around and fly, but only for a short duration, that are close to your sizes. They're not significantly larger than you are. Most of the ones that are flying about in the lower section of the sky are larger in size. They seem to be taking up a fair amount of space. You'd think that those are ones that be able to easily carry more than one of you. There are some that are moving around in a lot larger of area that seem, even from a distance, to be particularly huge in size. That you can like actually see their shadow, sort of like from the sky. And then the one that is waiting by the rock seems to be by a fair amount the largest of them.
So, okay, so I'm guessing that we're gonna try to get one that maybe can carry multiples of us. Unless you guys just, I don't know how you guys are gonna get back down.
Just climb on it.
But yeah, so how are we going to, if the talking doesn't work, what is the next step?
Maybe.
Blindfolded and kidnapped. We hold him and grab him.
Grab hold. So I mean, I could make a magical snare, but again, I don't know if that takes a minute to cast, and then if they see it, I don't think they get caught by it. So or are we just going to, you know, figure this out as it happens? I feel like this is already long.
Yeah.
I mean, I do have something. I do have a spell. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
If they're accessible enough, I guess we can get lucky and persuade them, I guess.
Maybe. I'm hoping that that is the thing, that whoever or whichever we come in contact with understands common or understands like a language that one of us speak. And we
Could be
like,
Draconic, never know.
that's what I'm thinking, but I wasn't trying to be, you know, I wasn't trying to assume things, but if I had to take a guess. But I was like, if talking doesn't work, what becomes plan B? You know, I do have a spell that keeps them from flying. You know, as long as I concentrate, they'll get hit. That's kind of all I have on that.
And it also depends too, like if we get forced into combat, what's gonna stop the other wyverns from coming to the aid?
Yeah, what if they squat up?
Yeah.
That is when we run.
I mean, if you can keep them on the ground, literally, I am up all the time. Eventually, you have to write them down, right?
Yeah. We can't just, have to write it down. So we have to, like, not that I want to, but they're, I could try, no I can't, because I didn't.
How does the no-fly spell like, stop them from flapping, or?
So basically, out of character, their fly speed becomes 0, and they plummet to the ground.
They can't move their arms. That goes.
Like, they
Their
can,
back leg.
yeah, they can still walk. Their walk speed and run speed are still there, but their fly speed is 0.
Okay.
So they have to stay on the ground. It's called earthbound. I mean, I do have a spell that I could command them to do as I say.
I mean, yeah, but I think that's gonna
I'd rather
wear out. Yeah.
not. Yeah. No, actually, it does wear out because if the thing is, it takes me an entire minute to cast, so I probably could not do that if we were in combat. So basically, what that would do is they have to obey what I say or take 5d10 psychic damage that counteracts what I tell it to do. But if it doesn't understand me, then it doesn't work. So, there you go. rather not use that spell because again,
Free will.
yeah, I'd rather it accept me, you know, than I told it to do something magically.
All right, rope. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's persuasion, rope. I don't really have a plan for this. Like, I was hoping that I would have thought of something by the time I got up here, and I literally blew all of my thought process on, 20 questions back there.
And I didn't think we'd get here so soon.
Yeah.
Can I look around to see if there's like a passageway, I guess, through these mountains that like can get us height? Maybe like, I don't know, give us some cover, but also access to the wyvern. So we're like, hey, but they're acting kind of crazy. We can dodge back in.
You're basically at the top of the mountain right now. It's almost like a small kind of crater. Like you can, it's pretty wide open up here, for the most
Okay,
part.
So there's no passageways or paths or.
I mean, there's some small crevices that you can tell are mostly where they like sleep and stuff. They don't just sleep out in the open wind.
I don't want to hide in their sleep. Sleep. That means they can get in there.
try shooting them with an arrow with a
Oh,
rope
no.
attached. Then you can shadow of the Colossus, Desira. Up the rope. Then ride the wyvern
All the way down. I mean, that's definitely
wherever
a
it
plan.
decides to go.
Wherever it decides to go. Just hang on tight. Definitely a plan. Definitely a plan. I like the tenacity.
Do I see any wyverns like landed on the ground that look like they could carry at least 2 to 3 people?
There is one of the, other than the one at the front, one of the largest sized ones that seems to be with one of the smaller ones that's laid on the ground.
You know what? Why don't we just start talking to a couple of them? Like they
I
can
thought
talk.
about that. I thought about that.
We don't have to be antagonistic at all.
Yeah.
Let's have a conversation. See who's more apt to be
Right. Okay. I mean, we could have just have to think about approaching 2 of them. Okay. I mean, I like that plan. I like the plan of let's just talk. Okay.
Can I check to see if any of them look hostile before I start walking out there?
Sure, go ahead and make me, insight check.
Yeah, I want to take a big ethereal plane look.
Okay. Some of the ones that are bigger than the youngest, seem not necessarily aggressive, but, they're not outright aggressive, but they do seem to be a bit more, aware of you all being there. Peering into the ethereal plane, Jay, you see that throughout most of the area, those same veins that you saw running through the mountain don't appear to be at the very top over here, but the rock upon which the largest one sitting upon is just, it's a different color looking in the ethereal plane essentially, as whatever the veins are made of seem to be focused around the spot that one is in.
He interests me
Oh,
so
he's on the
much.
charger, obvious.
Yeah.
That shouldn't have got me as hard as it did. I want to sit here and talk to this guy, but I don't know what to talk to him about. It's just interesting. Okay, well, I guess we're gonna go talk to one. Okay, see about this? Or
I just started walking out. I just started walking out.
Okay, alright, well, we're starting walking in the snow. Okay, I was just, okay.
No, you can still keep talking. I'm just, I'm just walking out. Cautiously to see what they do.
Okay.
You know, hands off of weapons.
I'm going to the first one I see on the ground, just chilling.
As I said, that's the one of the larger ones with one of the smallest ones. That's sort of in the kind of farther back area. There's sort of a not quite a frozen lake, but there seems to be like a solid like flooring of ice, sort of about the central area that's on the ground. And so as you kind of walk out, a small group of 3 of them, kind of like, they don't swoop all the way down, but they start flying like lower, closer to the ground.
I'm like, hello! Hi!
There's fucking bait.
Can you speak? Did they not answer?
As you say that, they look at one another as they're flying about, and like they keep. One of them's like looking down at you. 2 are looking at each other, but they don't respond to you now.
Looking back.
So, who asked for the bait?
Me.
Alright, so I'm just gonna pull out like the chest. I forgot the name of the chest. But anyway, pull out the chest and like open up the Yeti fur, and you know there's the Yeti bits in there.
Yeti bits.
I'll take some Yeti bits to my palm. Just hold them.
You sure that's what you want to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll toss it a bit. They start getting a little. Tossed out. Yay. Food truck essentially.
What was
I
like
missed
the hand.
everything.
Yeah.
I missed everything.
Oh no! No, I'm just gonna. If they get closer, I'm just gonna start tossing some of the food out
Okay.
Okay.
as like an offering, because I'm a food truck.
Gotcha. Okay, as you walk out with some chunks of meat in your hands, one of the smallest ones that was kind of like just laying down off the side, jumps into there and glides down towards you.
Oh, I just take the meat, toss it off to the side where I am currently.
Okay, and it stops.
Making sure that he sees it.
Yeah, it stops a little ways away from you, maybe like a 40 feet or so, as it kind of just like lands onto the ground, like skidding a little bit as it's trying to stop, and it just crawls over to the meat that you throw on the ground and starts to eat it.
So you said the smaller one is able to carry what? One person?
It's not much larger than you all are.
Oh, never mind. Well, that's cute.
These are medium-sized ones.
Gotcha. That's funny. Not judging. It's little.
They'll grow.
And I'm just like, well, my intention was not to take this one. It's just to gain trust, build rapport amongst the wyverns. We feed their young, you know. We don't.
Oh god. Hopefully it doesn't like try to. But it's eating. You never pet a dog when it's eating.
No, I don't intend to pet that.
Yeah, I was like, I thought about doing that, and I was like, no.
You can see if it talks.
Good. So. Talk to like a baby. What did you say?
I don't think he can talk.
Does it taste delicious? How is that?
Oblivious to talk to it.
Am I around it though?
I mean, it was
you're-
right next to.
You certainly see it. You're a bit farther away from it though, as you kind of walked ahead of the group a little bit.
Does anyone want to talk with us? I don't want to get too far away from the group.
Yeah. Well, we
Or like be bouncing off of wyverns.
Yeah, I don't really. I'm just like moving away from this young one. I didn't really want to interact with him more than
Like,
just
oh,
give me food.
Alright, so I see that the yelling is not helping.
Nope, they're not interested.
So what I'm going to do for the first time in ever is I am going to cast Speak with Animals.
Okay.
Lasts for 10 minutes. So, do I have to? No, I don't. I was trying to see if do I have to choose someone. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and cast Speak with Animals. Oh, what am I saying? Big, large, flying beasts. Like, so basically, I'm just gonna say, it's like, hello? I'm gonna be. Oh shoot! I hope they understand common because that's all I got right now. Don't mean you guys any harm. We just need a favor from maybe one of you that are a little bit of larger size.
Okay. And as you say that, there are two. No, it's the same group of three that was looking at Biesla, all like not quite dive bomb, but they clearly like make the trajectory to like kind of move right towards you, Desira, as they all stop, like just fly straight down at you. And as they get closer to the ground, they halt themselves by sort of flapping their wings down to the ground. And you get some pretty big gusts of wind as all three of them are sort of stopping and like aiming the wind towards you. It's a little bit hard to hold your ground with all of them flapping at the same time before they land down to the ground. And you can feel the weight of them like stepping down to the ground as they all kind of land more or less at the same time. And you can see one of them sort of like step more towards you and say, "Why are you needing?"
Well, as you can see, we're rather small, and we were hoping to get a ride down the mountain to where all those other people are kind of clustered up behind the stone walls. Would you be willing to do that?
Why are you needing to do that? You came here, no?
Yes. There is someone important to me who's down there who wants to see me come back on one of your backs.
I have seen this before. Why do you do this?
It's a ceremony. Do they even listen? Can they even understand me? Probably not.
You're not sure if they understand you or not. But one of the other ones like looks towards you to say that.
Oh, why?
It's important. It shows that I am now grown up.
if you are grown up, why are you not larger than they?
Technically. We do get bigger, but.
Well, for us, our age is not so much relegated by our size as it is relegated by
Do you know what relegated means?
shush. But we're by our abilities and understanding. And so if I can come up here and have a conversation with a wyvern such as yourself, it proves that I have crossed over from being a child to an adult.
What then have you to show that you are an adult?
Oh, we have, and I start scrolling over. We have this flower that we helped rescue a child. We have. What do we get from those Yeti people?
It was a tooth of a carnivore.
We got this too. Oh, do we know what carnivore this is before we show it?
We don't.
Oh no, don't do that.
I won't show the tooth. We got something from the Yeti. Because they
Nice.
wanted to. Sorry, what were they? What?
Ice giants.
It was something from the ice giants because they deemed us worthy to come on through the pass, and we fought some. I forgot what they're called.
Fought some yetis, and I'm just gonna put the yeti
Razzmatazz.
out there, and then we got a Ramaraz, and so like I pull out like the teeth, show them the teeth. It's like we had to do all of this just to get here.
Ah, what was it that Reed and Fjorm gave to you?
It was green and form.
The ice giants.
Okay.
So I pull out that big old tooth, and I was like, they gave us this tooth. I'm gonna be collecting a lot of teeth today.
The wyvern sort of like beckons his head down and like look closer at it. As his face gets closer to you, and it says, "Ah, that was a old tooth from when Almat Kur was younger. It was bothering him so."
No, whew, okay.
Who's Alphot Cure? That guy? I just put behind this to the dude, to the
On the
big-
charger.
Yeah.
And the wyvern just nods and says, "Yes, they have been friends for a great many time."
Oh. And I asked him if they had a pot. Like, he's talking about something. No.
So yeah, that's basically what we have just from climbing up this mountain today.
The one in front looks back to the other two and looks back at you and like takes like reaches down and starts to eat some of the meat and just kind of like move his head back to like knock me back farther into its mouth as it's eating, and it looks towards you and says, "Do your friends also come for the same reason? They don't look like the others that have come up here throughout the years."
Well, they don't have to do the ritual. They came here to help me do the ritual. However, I'm sure that they wouldn't mind, you know, a ride back down.
Okay, and that one looks around for a little bit, and it sort of like stands up like more straight on its hind legs, like its four wings sort of like in front of it on the ground, and it says, "What is your name?"
name is Desira Silverlight.
It nods its head at that, and it says, have you flown before?
I mean, I've turned into a bird and flown before, but I've never flown on the back of a flying creature.
Okay. And it looks back at his friends as well. Kind of like just stared at them for a small moment between the two of them, and it says, "Do you need just the one passage then?"
The way that was asked, I was like, is there supposed to be more? Yes, just down the mountain to the city gates.
And it says, "Very well then. Go ahead and make me." I guess it would just be animal handling at an advantage.
I believe in myself.
I'll get your name.
Right, right. Also need to repeat of, old man Wyvern at the door.
I like how he's like, you can ride me if you can.
Right. It's like, eh. I mean, that would have been cool. The jewel encrusted Grand Poobah, yes.
Okay, and he says, "Very well. If so, your also friends need assistance, then, well," and he looks towards the one on the right of him, and that one kind of steps forward and lets out a bit of not like a mentally loud one or angered one, but lets out a sort of a roar, and it says, he requires a showing of strength.
I'll look at Vash. What does the other one require?
Alrighty, here we go.
Yeah, don't know if you guys picked up on that, but show of strength.
How? Exactly. He wants to arm wrestle.
What is that? Are we gonna wrestle him?
Let's see.
Want a show of strength from like all of us, or are we
He,
shooting at you?
the one in front of you, says, "If you wish to arm wrestle, that can be arranged."
Like a big old claw, wavy claw.
Sure, let's do it.
You just want to grapple the thing and just pin it to the ground? I mean, it doesn't really have arms, but it's the weight. Okay.
You just push it over.
Hey. I go up to Vash and I whisper in his ear, "Hollow bones. GG easy."
Don't break them.
Yeah, they'll break them and fly you down.
Okay. So that one crawl moves slowly towards you, Vash. And it's puts his arm out and its hand is a fair portion of your body, not the entirety of your body, but its hand is about the size of your chest.
It's gonna be arm wrestled into the snow.
Gotta use 2 hands, brother.
Use 2 hands.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me athletics.
Is it an arm wrestle a wyvern?
How many people can say that? Ooh.
Okay. So, as without a countdown, the wyvern that has his hand out starts to push back on you, and you can see it's trying to close his hand around you as well. But you manage to grab its fingers and kind of hold them within your hands, and then just push back against it. Go ahead and roll another athletics. Okay. And you just begin to slowly push your way into towards the wyvern, and his hand just kind of keeps getting pushed back into its body. And go ahead and roll once more.
You're watching
In
Vash.
this man's whole career.
Oh!
It only got higher each roll.
In the beginning, he was just playing around.
So after you kind of get its arm kind of beginning to tuck into its own body, you saw it kind of hunch back a little bit and then kind of leap at you, and as you do, you just crouch down beneath it and push its arm up, and you can actually see the wyvern get pushed up a little bit over Vash as it just kind of skids behind him.
Made his shoulder check the wyvern,
Uh,
his fault.
And you all see him kind of it's not particularly injured. Vash just kind of threw it over him. It's able to right itself properly and whatnot. But as it does, Vash, you hear in your head, well done.
Magnificent social about.
And it does to you as well. And let's see. And my other friend here would like to see a trick of some sort.
A trick? What sort of trick? Yeah, exactly. Yo, about to pull out some rope.
Okay.
Hey, you wanna?
Well,
If
you
I
think
disappear,
What were you thinking?
oh, I'm just gonna disappear.
Oh no, I was
Sight.
going to slide on hand, it's here, whatever. But if you want to do a rope trick,
Yeah,
You
I can do that.
I can't hear what you were saying. You were trying to. You were thinking of doing what?
sleight of hand, it's here. It's not here. You know. But if he wants to do the rope trick, he can do the rope trick.
You know what? It's like that.
Do you wanna help in this?
Yeah, sure. We could be be Penn and Teller.
Exactly. What are we even doing? Sleight of handing.
about I hope this
These truths to be self-evident.
oh, you know what you could just do? You could just pull things out of the bag of holding.
That's true.
Oh
That's
my
true.
god.
This is a magical bag. It's small, but it holds anything.
Are we attempting this?
I guess, yeah, we just start pulling shit out.
Okay.
Oh wait, like wait. Oh shoot. I mean, technically, there is the magic jug.
Yeah, but that's a jug of torment, though, right? How does that work? I gotta click that open.
No, it's not the what? No. I think you just called that because he made acid and burned himself.
Oh, that's why I was kind of staying away from it, because it said torment, so that was like, oh!
It's a joke. I mean, okay, so these could happen. Also, I mean, you're pretty dexterous, yes, you can always, like, flip kicks or blah, blah. I don't know, like, we could definitely pull things out of the bag and be like, look, a magic bag! But I mean, this is, like, a wyvern. And I'm like, what is the trick? I want to make it, like, splashy. That's just me.
I guess I'll go first, and if it fails, someone can go next. Okay, I guess what I'm gonna try to do is, I'm gonna take my flute and be like, oh, it's in this hand, do sleight of hand, blah, blah, blah. It's in another hand. and then, hopefully if it works out.
Oh, you're not coming through.
Hello? Am I
Okay,
back?
now you're back.
Okay. Alright. Then I was going to perform, and then if Sadekume wants to do something,
Yeah, you can go first.
I'll go first. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to do sleight of hand with my flute. And be like, it's in this hand. No, it's this hand. And please don't fail
Okay.
me now. I'm gonna see if they were interested in that.
Okay, so as you do that, its eyes are following the time that you're doing the flute, and it's keeping up pretty well as you're going about with it.
Okay.
Its face seems relatively disinterested as you do so.
Then I'm just gonna. It's not a trick, but I'm just gonna put my flute down in the pocket, bring out the yak,
Okay.
and we're just gonna play. And if anyone wants to do anything while I perform, unless my performance is her.
As she pulls out the yaka and beginning to play, I am going to summon. Okay, no bad. I'm going to summon sprites. I think I can
Okay.
do about 8 of them. I will make them visible, and basically, I'm going to have the sprites. Some of them are going, like half are going to be like kind of circling her, and the other half I want them to perform a dance to her music.
Okay.
See if that'll help. Because technically, trick is sprites.
Okay. Go ahead. And so what do you have in the sprites do specifically?
So, 4 of them are going to be like performing a dance. So half are going to be performing a dance.
Okay.
And the other half are just going to be like flying around Viesla just to make, for presentation purposes.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I was like a light show.
Right, because I don't have prestidigitation, so.
You
Okay.
know who does?
Right. Who has thaumaturgy that can just put some reverb on this music?
Oh, I do. Some reverb.
Music always sounds better with the pedal on.
Is this you or is this too set?
Go ahead and also roll me performance, sir.
Okay,
With the drum out.
right. Maybe not the drum. Here in the mountain. Oh no!
Okay.
Wait, but they are sprites.
Right.
Only half of them can't coordinate.
Or they sprayed cranberry.
How dare you?
Yes! Oh man.
Oh, James.
Sprite man. It was a 13 and then rolled to a 3, and I'm just like, why?
And we still got chance, you know.
Right,
This
look.
doesn't work.
I got more spells. You know, we can do things. I can produce flame. Got mage hands. Look.
Maybe
As
I
you have the sprites kind of dancing about and doing some magical effects and whatnot, the wyvern just sort of lays his head down, almost as if it's like at his hands, like just kind of like on top of his head on top of his hand, just kind of like laying down, looking at you.
He's bored, guys. He's bored.
It's not working.
Maybe you could tell us what type of trick you would like to see. Nope.
The one that originally talked the first time says, that is not quite what she's wanted. She wants you to do something to surprise her.
Oh, alright. There's snow, man. I could do something, but you'll still see me because of the snow.
Do you like this? Does she like disappearing acts?
Oh jeez.
The middle one looks towards the one that's that has requested the tricks, and he turns back towards you and says, "You can try."
Well, Doctor.
Alright, okay, I'm gonna do it. Be like, okay, before your very eyes, I shall climb 60 feet of rope and disappear. You won't be able to hit me with your claws. You can try if you want. Once I'm gone, but wait till I'm gone first. You know what? I'll fucking take out the rope, throw it up, and then I will begin to cast the trick. And then I will climb the rope. And then once I'm into the extra-dimensional space, I shall bring the rope up with me.
Okay.
Maybe we should look this first.
I know.
I don't know, the other stuff was kind of cool though. I'm completely gone.
Because I think you can only do it if you have like cornstarch or something.
So,
Extract.
Oh, extra.
since people are disappearing, I just looked to see if this was a concentration spell. It is not. So I'm going to. It's like, all right. I'm going to bring the fairies around me.
Mm-hmm.
Just leave them there. Then I'm going to just meld into stone. Just drop down.
Okay. And so as you do that, Go ahead and make me a deception, Sanagime. And Desira, go ahead and make me a stealth check.
With advantage because I'm in the ground. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yay! Is it stealth? Okay.
And to help onto that, can I do minor illusion and just double myself? But maybe I should hold that off and see what happens.
So after Sanagame finishes climbing the rope, the wyvern puts his head down beneath where the rope trick was, and you can see its head looking up at you, Sanagame. You're still a fair amount in the air above it, but it's just like looking up straight into you, and it's bringing its head like closer, trying to see where you are until its head kind of like passes by the space that you're like occupying. So you see its head kind of just go past where you are.
I'm inside.
And those of you who are outside can see, not like aggressively, but it sort of like pats its claws through the air, and you see its hand passing by where you are, Sanagame.
Actually.
And for you, Desira, let's see, what was that one? It sort of begins to like tap at the ground, like where you are, and you can feel it just kind of like tapping in to your space.
I didn't mean that. My bad. It's like it's tapping. I'm like, don't hit me too hard.
Yeah, and so it just kind of resides, just sort of waiting, not directly beneath where the rope trick is, but sort of kind of anticipatory of where it expects you to come back out, I suppose. And it's just waiting there with this like excuse me, with its forewings sort of like propping itself up a bit off the ground. And the main one again, I guess it just actually says out loud this time. Yeah, it'll say out loud in common this time. You can return now.
Oh, I guess that's me.
So yeah, then just pop up from where I left.
I'll also, I'll pull the rope back out. For the environment. Lie down.
Right. And as you do, it stands like kind of up straight, noticing your turn, and you hear it say to your mind, Sanagame, that was rather impressive. I didn't think that many of your kind had such interdimensional powers.
Yeah, well, I'm the best of my kind, so I gotta pull out all the stops.
And you gotta see its face curve into a smirk as you say so. Okay, so they all take their they don't like kind of aggressively surround you, but they all kind of like take their spots around the entire group, and it's they all speak up and say, well, we can probably each take 2 of you. The wolf should not be much heavier, so whichever you prefer to go with for that one.
Oh well, yeah, the wolf. Gregory's coming with me.
Very well. Okay, and the one that Vash sort of wrestled, Bazin says very well. The dragon-looking man will ride with Gratolos, and this tall green one can ride with Telinals.
Oh yeah, we gonna wait to write that down. Okay.
And you, Destira, may ride with me. I am Cortacnos.
This is exciting and an honor.
Indeed. Well then, as soon as you are all situated,
So I guess who is riding where, guys?
I'll hop on the one with Sedagume. I guess Alexandra. Get on the strong one.
Sure.
okay.
Make it the heavy boy.
All right, and then that leaves Gilrich with Destira on Cortacnos.
There we go. Alright guys, we're gonna run Rivers.
Okay.
We did this in a day. We had 7, but after this, I didn't even nap.
Congrats on becoming an adult.
Oh, that's right. Technically, well, let's get down to the bottom of the mountain first.
Well,
I make sure my Yeti fur. I have that Yeti fur. And teeth and horns and everything.
Don't worry, it's in cold storage.
Okay. Scooped it all back in and put it all back away.
Just a second here.
Sure.
way nicer than expected.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Really was expecting another near-death experience.
Alrighty. So, you all get situated on top of the respective wyverns, and they will take into the sky, just not directly straight up, but they kind of like do a circle at first to sort of gain their speed up as they flap their wings about. Okay.
Boys are flying.
Alright, and so they are going to take up, and as you fly, you can see that you are indeed atop the mountain, as there are just clouds sort of passing by all you that have been covering the landscape.
Woo!
Oh,
I guess it's rather chilly up here. Go ahead, sorry.
Yes, it is quite cold, but I mean, you're all kind of making it through that. As they're just kind of like leisurely flying about at first before they begin to sort of head down the mountain at a pretty good descent. So everyone can make a dexterity saving throws. and that is Alexandria's splash. Okay.
Oh,
That's
crap.
almost a 2. That was almost a 2.
Okay. Oh, I don't have that yet though.
Who was the 5?
That's Gilrich.
No, no!
Oh Jesus.
I guess you should have rolled those as their characters. Okay. So yeah, as the Wyverns sort of take like a stronger descent down towards the ground rather than the sort of leisurely pace they were taking before, they're sort of going at a pretty rapid pace down the mountain. And Desir, you see Gilrich's like grip begin to slip as you see him kind of like lose his handling on Kurtoknos.
Can I reach back and grab him?
You can certainly go ahead and try so. So go ahead and let's see.
Look at that.
Not the way it goes down.
Go ahead and make me. I gotta make me a athletics check.
Okay. Help me now. Whoa!
Okay. Yeah. So you see Gilrich kind of go by, and you like wrap your legs tighter around Kurtoknos and like reach out with both hands to grab Gilrich because he's got some heavy gear on him. So you grab onto him really quickly, and you manage to like pry him back on to the wyvern to help him steady himself again. And it gives you kind of like a slightly exasperated like wave of thanks.
Just like, you know, kind of like thumbs up.
All right, and so you all are kind of gliding down closer. You're kind of getting more to the forested area, still soaring above the trees. So I'm gonna need everyone to make another dexterity saving throw.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I knew
At least it's a 10.
it's a natural.
But it's a natural one.
I'm definitely gonna, if I see her doing something crazy, I'm definitely gonna reach out. I'm like, y'all might want to slow down. Just saying.
Okay, so you guys are losing a bit more of your grips as it's getting to be a bumpier ride as you're getting closer to the ground. But you're all fine, actually. I didn't realize I had the +9 to dexterity save, though. It's funny.
It's like, you know, the wind is hitting your eyes and starting to water.
Yeah, as you all, let's see.
Upstairs, like putting her arms out, all that kind of stuff. Not today, bruh. You're hanging on. That's where the tent came from.
Finish the
Right?
task.
Like, no.
No. Goose is what are you doing?
That's exactly the conversation that's happening. Oh man.
Alright, and so you all glide closer to Singorn proper, and as you're getting let's see, closer in towards there, you see the Ace kind of quick approaching, and the Wyverns fly like right over on top of where the gates are, and then land just inside the city, like right past them, as there's still like a fair amount of space, and you can kind of see some of the guards like holding their like helmets down as you're passing over. as you see both Elisar and the voice of memory both waiting for you as the wyverns like slow their descent, flapping their wings, and both of them too are kind of like covering their faces a little bit as the wings flop down, and they settle down on the ground, standing in place for you all.
So right before we land, I want Sarah to change the look of her armor to like one of the more, I lost the word for it, but to look like one of the sky swimmers she used to see during the celebrations.
Sure. Okay.
Take it till you make it, guys.
Ceremonial, that's the word I was looking for. We made it mountain, guys!
Okay, so yeah, you all land in there, and presumably dismount. Unless you want to say anything while you're still atop them.
I say thanks for the ride.
We've come to destroy the. I'm just kidding.
So I just kind of say my thanks and jump down.
And they nod their heads to you as you're all dismounting. And before that, much later, they flap their wings and kind of do the same circling motion they do to get back up into the air, and they take off back towards the mountain without too much hubbub. And as you land, the voice of memory walks over to you and says, "Oh, that is impressive."
Thanks. It was definitely challenging. I'm trying to see if like there's dirt and blood on me, but you know.
And Elisar also walks forward and looks towards you with actually a what's we're looking for? A very sort of prideful smile on his face as he comes towards you. And he comes towards you, Sarah, and puts his arms above your shoulders and says, "Well done. Very well done."
Sarah doesn't know whether to like to smile or cry. She might be doing both in a couple seconds. It's like, thank you, Father. Kind of smiles back.
And the voice memory seems to have like some printed piece of paper that she's like not quite like a oh my god, what's the word I'm looking for? Fucking clipboard. Not quite a clipboard, but a similar sort of utensil where she has like a piece of wood that she has like a paper she's writing on top of. She says, "Well, welcome back, all of you, and congratulations indeed. If you would all feel like returning to the inn, you may indeed do so. And I wish you all a restful your stay here. You should all be proud of yourselves. It is not the easiest task to make it up the mountain for a number of reasons, as I'm sure you are all now aware. All that we ask is that you don't disclose of the journey to anyone. Keep it amongst yourselves. Those who have already done the passage will know of it, and those who do not, we would prefer they not be too aware of the potential things they may find at the top of the mountain."
Like death. Okay.
Understandable.
Indeed, some do die.
We will definitely. Oof. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely be keeping this between us. All right. So we're
Okay,
free
fine.
to go.
Yes, you are. Although, and as she says that, Alisar says, if you wouldn't mind coming with me for but a moment, Sarah.
Sure.
Oh, she about to get the upgrade.
Can I like? It's just her. I want to eavesdrop. Can I like go over and be like,
I'll be like, no, BS, let's go. We have to plan our memoirs, even though he specifically told us not to talk of this at all ever.
And it says, pardon me, Biosola, this is something I need to talk with Sarah alone for.
okay.
Okay. And where the heck did I put this?
The urge to tell everyone about the arm wrestling is pretty strong right now.
And Baker's picture gets me.
So Elisar takes you to the he takes you in front of where the revelry walks are, but sort of closer to the lake side of it, and so you can see where the revelry walks have grown into the area surrounding this location, and he has like you find a small bench sort of near the lake, and he sits down and beckons for you to sit next to him as well.
Okay, I sit down next to him.
And for a moment there, he just sits there in silence, just sort of breathing in, and says, "So, how was it?"
Wasn't exactly what I expected. Not going to lie, there was a moment where I thought that I was gonna come back without writing a Wyvern, but I think there were definitely some surprises at what myself and my friends were able to do.
They do seem a good match for you.
So I am also. I really thought it was going to take the entire 7 days. Also thought that I was going to have to get there by fighting and violence.
Some
so I
do.
was very surprised. We didn't have to.
No, it is a path of discovery as well for everyone who travels there. Do you know one of the reasons why I never forbid you from spending so much time with Biosola?
I always thought it was because it got me out of your hair.
No, there was never anyone your age growing up. Not truly your age, even if there was some general connection to maturity level for you. There was never anyone who was quite able to bring the relief around you. You seemed so much more at ease with her. You always had a bit of a weight to fit in with the Elven Society, that you never could quite let your guard down around the other children, few that they may have been. That was never the case with her. She brought out a side of you I never got to see otherwise.
Sometimes to be as loud, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I don't know, she's just easy to get along with. It's like she understood without me having to say anything. That and like the way we met, I don't know, it's like she just decided that we were gonna be friends and it was just easy to follow after her.
I'm glad you've stayed with each other for so long. Despite how much we may not see eye to eye.
There is something that I guess I'm a little worried about. I don't think it's going to affect us at all, but I don't know. It was a weird dream. And she had the same one where it was like, I don't know, our ancestors like warred against each other, which I mean, I get. And while in the vision it said that we should be fine, it's that uncertainty that, I don't know, we won't be. And maybe that's just a concern for another day.
Oh, well, those are the sorts of struggles that I won't be able to give you the answers to, and I hope you'll be able to find on your own, as best you can.
Being adults, all about, right?
Give me 1 second.
Sure. Hello. In the middle of a D&D session, we're having a serious moment here.
Must
Yes.
be very importante.
Yes, that's pepperoni and sausage. Get it right. Do you know out here they put green chilies on their pizza?
I believe it.
I don't know how I feel about that.
And he says, well, it's difficult. You never know quite what life will throw at you at any given point, the connections you have and everything, but I didn't just come here to prattle on and explain everything to you, but, and he reaches off to his side, beneath the cloak that he's been wearing, and he pulls out what appears to be like a blade in an ornate blade, a blade in an ornate sheath rather, and it has this sort of the actual pommel of it is like shaped into some wings that have been spread open, and he says, "I wanted to give you this."
Oh, wow. How long have you had this? And so, like, I kind of take it from him.
Since I passed my test, my father gave it to me. And his father before him. This is our family's wing blade. It has been passed down to us from generation to generation, and I have kept it safe for you for not quite as long as time as I would have anticipated when I first thought of having a child. Though I know you are not strictly blood related to me, but I think that this rightfully belongs to you now.
I mean, you're absolutely sure that you want to give it to me.
You're my daughter. Who else would I give it to?
Oh god, yeah. Nasir definitely is trying not to cry. Yeah, it's definitely like the welling up of the eyes. You know the thing where like you tilt your head back, so it's like maybe the tears will go back in, but that's
Mhm.
not that's not a thing that happens. So I hope you understand like how much this means more than anything. I will keep this, guard this, cherish this with my life.
I have no doubt about that. You will do well with it, and with whatever you pursue in your life. I have no doubt about that.
And I'm just going to put the blade away and then think about it for a second and then hug him.
And he'll, as you're kind of reaching for him, his arms will wrap around you as well, and he will embrace you in his hug. And we'll take a break there.
Yay!
So, yeah, just come back, and I don't know. I don't have a specific amount of time, but we'll be back.
We'll be back.
5-10 minutes.